05. Thank you all. If you're just not getting in the Discord, if you just signed the strike card, if you're new to this whole thing, we have these welcome meetings every Sunday just to get you all up to date on what's going on, any resources that you all need to get started, how to take action, and so on. So the agenda lays it out tomorrow. We have our GSUS link tree, our GSUS resources link, which is exists within the GSUS link tree. Most of these resources definitely helps you out get a idea, better idea of General Strikes US values, principles, goals, strategies, and tactics, and so on. All of these resources are, evolving as we move forward, and some may change. We may develop new ways to disseminate this information out, and so on. But once again, this is a collective effort. Um, so yeah, most of these resources have been created by members within Discord and without. We'll get started. If you check out the link tree, you'll see our code of conduct, which was typically designed for the Discord. But if you read through it, it's definitely some good advice in there, good tips that you can use in your everyday life. That will come handy. The main thing is with that, just treat everyone how you like to be treated. If you are in a situation here on the Discord that's a little uncomfortable, you can always add a moderator, and someone will be with you to help you out, and we'll get it worked out. Next, you'll see our welcome packet. The welcome packet, if you haven't already checked it out, we tend to, tell people to check that out on our social medias and whatnot. But the welcome packet is a collective effort. It's an interactive document, presentation that goes over what you may see on a website. It may go into a little bit more detail, but once again, it's always evolving, just like most of these resources. And we want to find more ways to get this information out to you all. Why are we organizing? Why do we have a strike card? Why are we organizing General Strike US chapters, and so on? Yeah, but the welcome packet definitely is a great tool to come in handy. You can share it out. Anything here you can share out, share with your friends, share with groups that may be interested or would like to know a little bit more about the General Strike US. But it definitely comes in handy. Dalian, do you have anything that you wanted to add about code of conduct or welcome packet or anything?
I was just going to add that there's a bunch of really, really awesome resources that Day and several other people have been collecting and building over time that'll help if anyone's interested in looking for just kind of ways to get started or actions you could take in your community. We know that Discord is a really nice resource for being able to share our thoughts with each other, get to meet people, and find out who's in our areas or who else is working on things across the country. Ask for tips. But yeah, all of this is also really designed to try and help us do things in person too for our communities and our people around us. So please check these things out and talk to other people in your state channels or talk to other people in your life who you might want to do some of these things with if you find like a how to that really kind of vibes with you for what you might want to do to help your community.
Right on, Dalian. The how tos are very important. Remember we need 3.5% of the population engaged in sustained participation. To each of our abilities and capacity, the participation will definitely look different for us all. But there's so many ways that we can all, get involved and help establish, the infrastructure needed to strike and just push the movement forward overall. So yeah, there are, how to's in there. We may not have the answer for everything. So if you do find like another great resource, that explains, how to, create a service or a program, or, just create change and community empowerment within your community, feel free to share it. We can even get it on a resource link, or you can get it up on your state, your local General Strike US chapters link tree, because that's important too, that we help provide resources for our chapters and whatnot. You'll also find, and this is great too, because I know many of our members are attending like protests and community events. You can find like PDFs for like GSUS flyers, signs, pamphlets, graphics. Those have been done by members here, and without the Discord, without the not in the Discord. And if you ever like to create anything, feel free to drop it in GSUS Media. Drop the PDF, and I'm pretty sure we can get that up and share it as well. Um, you know, you may have a different approach, a different style. We need all of our uniqueness involved in collective movement. Art is a very powerful tool that we can utilize. Poems, spoken word, whatever it is. We we need it all. Everything helps. So yeah, you'll also find a list of General Strike US chapters, social media pages, which is helpful. People, need to see it to believe it. They need to see that the movement is growing. They may want to support their, local chapter. So that also helps out. You can send that out, check it out. If you don't see any representation in your area, we are looking, for volunteers to start or join a General Strike US chapter. Dalian, did you have anything to add?
No, I think that was pretty much really great on, yeah, taking people through the resources tree. Do you want me to head into the next section for us?
Sounds good.
Cool. Hey everyone, I'm Dalian. I think I forgot to introduce myself earlier, but I help organize out in Oregon as well, and I also help around the Discord here, so feel free to say hi. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, it's a nice Sunday to have everyone. So what we're working on is we're working on building community in order to help us get the 3.5% of the population engaged in this action of taking a general strike. We need this number to have a critical mass of people that will actually be successful in getting our demands met. So anything we can do to help us get to that point is what we're trying to do. It'll take lots of small actions from a huge number of people to help make this thing happen. It's not going to be just one person reaching everybody, or even 100 people or 1,000 people reaching everybody. But every conversation you have, every post you share, every move you make, I guess I'm doing that song at this point. But yeah, everything you do can really help guide people towards thinking about the problems that we see in our society, and the fact that they're all linked and connected back to kind of the exploitative nature of the systems we're working under, and how, yeah, the systems are really working for the wealthy right now, and they're not designed to be working for us. That's why we have these issues that we have. That's why we have the broken government that doesn't do anything for us that we need to have it do. So, yeah. In the meantime, though, we're going to have to take care of each other, make sure that we survive until the strike, and also make sure that we're going to be prepared to survive during the strike, too. There are plenty of opportunities for people to get involved and help out. You don't need us to give you permission to print flyers, hand them out, tell people about the strike card, things like that. These are all actions that you're welcome to take on your own as a part of the decentralized organization. There are roles that it's nice to know if you want to volunteer for them, just so that we can get you plugged in and get you support if this is something you feel like you might be willing to do. Or if you want to think about it for now and let us know in the future if you want to step into one of these things. We can always use volunteers to help run regional discords. We're trying to really support the states and other regions in having their own places where they can meet and have it be a little bit more focused on their local areas, and make it easier for them to help people connect on a city or county or statewide basis, to start meeting in person and doing projects, getting projects done in person. So if anyone has interest in helping support the creation and operation of these new discords. Each state is trying to kind of take inventory of their resources and try to make a transition into this very soon. This is one of our projects that's going on right now. We are also working on continuing to develop more statewide meetings, as well as at some point we'll do regional meetings too, so that neighboring states can communicate with each other, share information. But if anyone is interested in helping coordinate times for your state to have a virtual meeting, or if you want to try and set up in person meetings between members in your local area, maybe around a city or a couple of cities that are near you, let us know. We'd be happy to support you and get you the materials you need to make this happen and try and help you figure out what your goals and mission are in doing these things. We also have plenty of opportunities for people to help organize workshops. This can be something that we just do here on the Discord. It's also something, if you're comfortable with us putting it onto YouTube, this could become a resource for the community within General Strike US as well if it's recorded like that. And you could also do this within your local chapters too if you wanted to host a workshop where you teach people about, some sort of sustainable practice that you partake in, or give tips on protest safety, or how to start a certain type of mutual aid organization. If you have a skill or knowledge base that you think would be useful to share with others, we would love to, have you connect you with people, set up a time or meeting if you'd like to share that with people here on the Discord. We'd love to help make that happen. We've got plenty of General Strike US chapters that are getting created. We are still looking for some states to try and get the support they need to start having meetings and things. If you want to check with us, if your local chapter is beginning to have meetings, let us know. We can put you in touch with the people we're aware of. Or if no one's doing it yet and you want to help out, we can also do that too. We have also created a welcome briefing video that is new, and this is meant to kind of be an extension of this sort of welcome meeting, but for members who maybe are shyer about attending a meeting or aren't able to make it just because of time and schedule restrictions. We've posted a sort of a brief introduction, kind of like what we usually do here on Sunday, that members can access at any point on our YouTube as well. And Day, I don't know if we have the link to that, but yeah, we'll try to spread that around, and we'll probably try to post it somewhere in the getting started areas of the Discord too, so that new members can access it, and they don't have to necessarily wait till Sunday for a welcome meeting.
I
Right?
real quick,
Yeah, go
Dalian,
ahead.
I linked it to the agenda. It's like one of the last links. GSUS welcome briefing, but it is on the agenda for him.
Sweet, awesome. All right, so I think that takes us through kind of some of the primary projects that we're working on at a national and kind of statewide level at this point. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about those, feel free to type it into the chat as well. You're welcome to kind of chat with us or ask questions while we're going through some of this information, and we'd be happy to answer that for you too. We've got a couple more things we're going to cover, and then we'll have our open discussion in a little bit. Day, do you want me to hand it back to you, or do you want me to take us through the Discord activities as well?
Just the Discord activities. I can run through them real quick.
Sure.
Um, I know we'll be getting more, but as of right now, we have political education discussions on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Saturdays, we've been having a movie night, watch party. I'm pretty laid back. And then on Tuesday nights, we have political theory video. So if you are into political theory, definitely check that out. Sundays we have a book club every Sunday, and these are activities being hosted by volunteers. We kind of covered it earlier, but if you're interested in doing something similar, just reach out. We also have documentary club every third Tuesday of the month from the Black Panther Party Michigan chapter. I believe they'll have something streaming March 18th. yeah, that pretty much wraps us up. Thank you all if you bear with us through all that talk. But if you all have any questions, thoughts, please, come off mute or type in the chat and we can answer and just have a discussion. This is very casual, cordial. Um, yeah, let's chop it up.
I just had a quick question, and this is also for my knowledge, and for the new people here. If people are trying to connect and figure out, if new people are trying to connect and figure out if they already have like leaders in roles who have volunteered for their state, such as social media coordinators or chapter facilitators, or if no one has stepped up yet, who can the new people talk to about finding those people? Who's keeping a list, that full list? What people are keeping that list?
Yeah, the list usually lives in the welcome packet. There is I forget which slide it is, but there's a hyperlink to a list of all the chapters that have different social media profiles, so you can find which ones go with your state. And we are working on adding other information too, like once we know which states are doing regular meetings at various times. Yeah, we'll add that information somewhere too. As far as the actual members that are organizing in each state, it is fluid in some areas, but we can definitely point people if there's a specific state that you want to know about. Feel free to let us know. You can DM in the comments here, and yeah, we can get you connected, or you can also just ask the moderators at any point of the Discord channel, and we'll point you to the people who, yeah, we know are helping out in the various states. Hopefully that helped answer your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just so you
good question.
all know, document uh, the social media pages and the GSUS chapters. It's also on the resources link. It's also on a welcome packet too, but you can find that on the resources link too if you just want to know. See them. Did you want to like answer the thought provoking question? I mean, the icebreaker that was shared in the agenda. See a couple comments. I think responses to it. The question was, can you share a moment when you witnessed the power of collective action in your community? We have Madeline, MIT grad students, mass protests for mental health coverage. We actually got better mental health coverage, hell yeah. And some other copays on our health plan reduced too. That was the issue campaign that kicked off our union drive. Right on. We have GP, my college campus, revitalized our Planned Parenthood Generation Act chapter through mass spread of sex ed and consent educational materials. Sweet.
I can share mine.
Uh,
Um,
mhm.
the college campus one that JP did got me all excited because when I was in college, we did all the sustainability protesting and just like did tons of organizing and postcards like with tens of thousands of you know pressure and got the UC Office of the President to establish Office of Sustainability. So that was a multi-year long-term project. And then also when Occupy happened, it was pretty epic. And so I had to post that as well. But yeah, check.
Sweet. We do have a stack, you all. Brand is up, but if you all, just so we can keep order, we will be keeping tabs on stack. But just drop stack, and you'll be called on to speak. So we're not talking over each other. Brand, go ahead.
I got a few community action stories, but while we're on the topic of colleges, my SUNY had one of the more successful SUNY Palestine encampments. We're still, fighting it out for the divestment, and it's become very bureaucratic, but we did manage uh, as part of our negotiations, get full amnesty for 68 of us, students and faculty that were arrested and facing, disciplinary charges, suspensions, expulsions. So all 68 of us that they had on record, we got amnesty for everyone, and
Mm.
uh, and then we also, uh, just because of how they reacted to our encampment, I guess more of an indirect. result of our work, because they brutalized us and because they just injured so many people and brought 6 different police precincts onto a tiny little college in the middle of Westchester. The faculty ended up voting no confidence in the president, who's now stepping down at the end of the semester. So that was sort of indirectly our work, paying off. But also,
Hmm.
when you do good things, shitty people will react in shitty ways, and there will be consequences. So I guess you can kind of take credit for that too, right?
Sweet. Yeah, it's important to take note. I heard you got amnesty, and it was just a small number, but it was definitely some strength and within those numbers, and just to take back to what we're doing with the whole 3.5%. There is strength in those numbers, and our diversity, and us playing our role. So just to keep in mind, we all know, there is power. The people have power collectively. That's what they fear. Our organized solidarity. Elderberry stack.
Oh yeah, you reminded me, just bringing up the 3.5%. We've been having some of these conversations in Maine, and trying to also calculate that at the state level. What is 3.5% at the state level? Using census data, which I believe is about 50,000 for Maine, and then what is it at the county level? And then what are the certain types of workplaces for our state that are the most effective, specific to our state, to start to organize and reach out to first.
Mhm.
Um, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knows to also do those calculations state and population wise, and kind of also factor in certain types of industries that would be the most effective as well.
Sorry to jump in, but uh, so yeah, sorry to jump in, but the 3.5% number, like, how was that calculated, and kind of what's the relevance of that number that kind of makes that so important?
Well, I'll chime in. Basically, the 3.5% is research from Erica Chenoweth, that we've incorporated into our own organizing. I mean, it's no secret, we have strength in numbers, but just looking at their research of nonviolent, social movements and things of that nature, just trying to utilize that in a way to where we're using that as sustained participation. So 3.5% nonviolence, but we're engaging and we're taking actions that improve our material conditions. So, helping empower our communities through services, educational programs. It's really limitless to how many ways we can empower our communities, but that specific number was based from that research from Erica Chenoweth. I believe there's a TED talk that we can share with you to give you more insight on their research.
Excellent, thank you.
No problem. Oh, that's what's up. Danny Pooh dropped it in the chat. So there it is. I mean, and then, think we talked about this before, but people sometimes they need to see it to believe it. That is the threshold that we're aiming towards, but if more people start seeing this small percentage, there's so many more. It's it's not 100%. So if the other percentage start seeing this small fraction of people, creating the alternatives and the dual power and the infrastructure that we do need to strike and withhold our labor and so forth. I'm pretty sure we'll get possibly surpass that threshold as we move forward. It may cause like a ripple effect and lead on to into something much more bigger than what we're imagining, you know. But especially I just think it's a win-win, especially once we finalize these strike demands. But in the process, right now, there's so many things we could be doing to basically winging ourselves away from being dependent on these systems and structures that haven't really gotten us anywhere, that strip our power away and just take it away. So when we talk about our basic needs, food, the it's limitless how many possibilities it is, how we can create the alternatives to have food sovereignty, these systems to where we can have multiple streams of food services, food pantries, and things of things of that nature. We can go from each basic necessity, and we already kind of have a good idea of these solutions. Is anybody else on stack? Let me see. Oh, elderberry, or if I don't know if that's old.
Oh, no, that was me again, because I just wanted to piggyback off of something you said, and just a reminder about to everybody that like how important it is to kind of restructure our mindset from uh this idea of scarcity to actually abundance, and that's a process, right? That's not something that we just do all at once, but that's the goal here, is to realize that is to get out of the scarcity mindset, and through community, to actually realize that we have abundance in our collective power to restructure things and help each other.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a total shift in consciousness change. It's so many things that has been hinting to it. Think, my favorite is coming to my mind right now. Michael Jackson change. Yeah, change the person in the mirror. So it's just I think Dalian said it earlier, like these small actions, that we're taking, but we think they're small, but they're adding, to the collective resistance. So it's like we just got to keep that in mind. Don't get burnt out like we're not doing enough. You being here right now is enough. You helping out where you can. A couple folks have, contributed designs, have contributed projects. I think our Illinois chapter just came up with a presentation to break down like decentralization and sociocracy. Like yeah, it's really beautiful just to see how all of these small actions are building something large, something massive, a tool that we can use to strike back and liberate ourselves. I'm not looking at the chat, but if anyone is on stack. All right. Oh yeah, we do have them Chicago here. I mean Illinois here. I always want to call you all Chicago. If we have like any of the other chapter facilitators that would like to share like any projects that they're working on, or just any thoughts, we love to hear from you. I know it's like kind of early. We're having open discussion 8:33, and we typically go like for an hour. Oh yeah, Rand, what's up?
Hey, I can. I'm a chapter facilitator for New York City, so I could share a little bit about what we're working on and also some of our struggles.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think this will speak to. So I don't know where everybody's coming from. Maybe the Chicago people, like you did, Day, and any others that are sort of in pretty active cities, um, where you're sure to find people that have been working for social justice and other types of systemic change, a lot longer than any recent presidential campaign or issue that's come up. Uh, so first speaking personally for me, the reason I got involved with GSUS, is because I'm working in New York City. I left college to come back to where I live in New York City and really try and figure out what I can do here for my community and for my city as a whole. And uh, and I see all this untapped potential. I have over the last month written a list that has over 350 different organizations, venues, across the city, across the five boroughs that that seem to be working for, one second, sorry. That seem to be working for some sort of social change, be that homelessness or migrants' rights or, LGBTQ issues, black and brown issues, whether it be like depolicing, whatever is a very broad spectrum. But you tend to think that the people in these organizations might see eye to eye on a lot of the things that they're working on, right? Yet they're not really communicating with each other. And you think about, well, if we had all 300 plus of these organizations, ranging from little student organizing groups that maybe have 50 people in them to like large labor unions that have over 1,000, 2,000 members in them. What if they were communicating? What could we do if we had organizers across all five boroughs working on a couple collective goals? How easily could we accomplish those goals? And that's sort of what I saw General Strike doing, is that this is the General Strike is a goal that is fully encompassing of all of us. And therefore, sorry, I'm like out of breath for some reason. I'm gonna rein it in. That was my personal, need to get involved. And I think to city people or the people who are living in urban areas that already have a ton of activity, be it mutual aid, student organizing, whatever, I would say if you're new to the game, of activism, of community organizing, which I'm maybe somewhere halfway between. I'm not new, but I'm also not, a veteran in this field. I would say reach out to your local organizations, which is what we're really working on here. And before you start, rambling about General Strike US and how it's the best thing ever, and how if we just get 11 million people, we could change the US. You'll often find that people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like 11 million, 3.5%, whatever. That sounds ridiculous. We're doing what we're doing, and we're good at it, and we're going to keep doing that." So before you start telling them all about GSUS, first just see like, what are you doing? And would you be interested in being connected with other groups that might be doing something similar, so that the collective work that we're all doing can sort of uplift each other and can help each other, and resources can be shared easier, and people and volunteers can be shared easier. So I would say making a list of all of the groups in your area, and then seeing if you can go to each of them, go to their meetings, go to their mutual aid distributions, go to their like protests, whatever they're doing, and see, hey, did you know about this other really cool group just like 20 minutes away or an hour away that is also doing something that you might be interested in? Can we work together? And then once you've got that network built, then you can sort of reintroduce the general strike thing, because now it doesn't seem so crazy, because now you've got a network that is wrapping around the whole of your whatever city, state, whatever your goal is. Anyway, that was my rant. I don't know if that was helpful to anyone, but that's sort of where we're at right now in New York City. We're trying to get
Oh,
there.
thanks for sharing that, Ren. I don't know if Jay has any feedback, but they're up on Stack.
Yeah, yeah. Rin, I mean, it just gets so, it just hits a chord with me for sure. I like what you're talking about, where it's it's connecting with our communities and understanding all of the different groups, and building those relationships with the other groups in our communities, and building that understanding. It's just, I really like the way that you're talking about that, because what is proven to always work is relationships. Like when you build those core relationships, it just builds trust, and it builds understanding, and it builds like a cohesive, unstoppable force. So that is just really well said. It seems like to me there's three levels of groups. One is the groups on the website, like the partners that partner and collaborate with GSUS. Another is, like you're saying, in local chapters and local communities, the kind of spokes that go out into the other groups and our organization in the local community that you're building relationships with. And then the third category is like the other movements, like the 5051, like we've been talking about, other protests going on, and even other other strike groups nationally that are forming. And so all three of those are just really good to keep track of and collaborate with. One of the things that you said that was really interesting that I'd love to know more about is the timing in which you bring up the general strike in the relationships. So I can't speak to that, but I'd love to hear more about that and more strategy on the best ways to introducing, the relationship building versus introducing the strikes, all that. Check, check, check. Beautiful. Thank you.
I'm on Stack, and I have something to say about that. So I think that you guys are bringing up a good point, and one thing, first of all, going to the protest is really great because if you can go to the protest, you can pass out flyers. I did it myself, and I kind of just moved through the crowd, like passing out little GSUS pamphlets, and there are a lot of people that were like, "This is the real organizing. Thank you." And so that felt good. And then we just had our first chapter meeting, and there's a lot of us that are really interested in building like a mutual aid food network, and connecting and not trying to duplicate efforts that are already going on. But making sure that we can connect everything. And we were talking about going to this big annual fair that happens once a year for farmers and affiliated activist organizations surrounding food and stuff. And we were talking specifically about sort of like branding, which is kind of a bad term, but that like in that context, the GSUS main members might not actually be distributing GSUS materials at a farmer's fair. That instead, because we're building a mutual aid food network, in that context, we're not representing GSUS. We are just trying to build the mutual aid food network, even though some of us happen to be members of the GSUS network. So again, it's just thinking about context and what we're trying to build, and then once you make those connections, bringing them in where they can be connected.
Sweet. We have indication left on Stack.
Hi, Elderberry, what you were saying was so good, and like hearing about the meeting encourages me to do a meeting. A few of us as chapter facilitators met, particularly in Chicago today. We met via chat, and we kind of spoke about what we want to do for our official meeting. But I also want to say for any new people, I was very new to this organization. I didn't know what was going on or what General Strike was. But me jumping in, I love the fact that I can experiment and I keep up with the idea of building new relationships is what I'm doing. Because a lot of times it can be scary, right? Like you don't know what's going on. All you know is like what's going on with current events and how you want to help. So in my mindset, I like to think of it as I'm just building relationships. I'm focusing on the problem that we're facing and how we can change things. And yeah, I just really appreciate what's going on here as far as me being very new to organizing and how I can jump in. So with any new person, I'll just say don't be afraid to jump in and to figure out how you can help and to talk to people.
Hell yeah. We don't have anyone else on Stack, but if you all want to reply, chime in. It's a lot of great advice coming from our facilitators. Really glad to hear it. Anarchy, did you have anything to say? I see you came off mute. Probably just accident.
I'll put something out there since we've got 15 minutes left.
Sweet.
What do people think are like the biggest challenges at the national level right now with, and I somebody else referred to us as an organization, and I would say that we're not exactly an organization. We're a network that is pursuing organized an organized movement. And so I just want to hear from some people like what for the remaining time, maybe possibly, what do we think the biggest challenges are right now for us?
I think Rand kind of touched on it earlier, but I would say just finding like a middle ground. Like, you would think we'll already have. It's a lot of division. It's a lot of ideologies that's in competition with each other and things of that nature. But just finding the middle ground, just realizing that we are stronger together. But on a national level, within our group especially, just finding that middle ground. Remembering that we have to be patient with each other. Yeah, and that we're all different. We're all coming from different lived experiences, and different points within our revolutionary journey. And, just trying to paint a different narrative. You know, they expect us, to fail, to be divided and fight amongst each other. But yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge to me on a national scale.
Thank you. That was helpful to hear from you about that. Thank you.
No problem.
I've got something I can add to that. I think one of the things I've found most useful, kind of seeing what a lot of the other people are doing at the national level, and I've tried to think about this in my own mindset while I'm trying to help people like on the national Discord. Is it's not so much like a challenge, but it's like it's an ongoing project that I think might be useful for people to think about. Which is, I think we have some people who do a really good job of setting their goal to build tools that they can just start handing out to members who walk in the door or who check out the website or talk to us about wanting to start something. If we've got tools at the ready, if we can hand everyone a hammer, when they ask for the hammer, and we're all trying to build like a house together or something. If we've got the hammers and nails ready to go, when people come up to us and ask to start doing something or ask to help, that's going to make it feel so much more powerful for the new people coming in if we can hand them the tools to make changes and impacts in their community and explain to them why it might help. And there's a lot of different tools that we need to build and we can build. And so I think just like building our tool shed and also like constantly like sending people to the tool shed for the right tools when they ask for the thing, that's something that I think we're trying to do a really good job of. And to our credit, I think we have a lot of really fantastic tools that a bunch of people have been creating. But I'm trying to contribute personally as much as I can to the tool shed as well. And I try to give this analogy every once in a while when I remember it. But yeah, so like yeah, trying to build the tool shed and let people know it's there, and tell them how to use it if they have questions, because we really want everyone to become empowered to be able to make the changes they want to make and to be able to make the contributions that they're in a position to make, and to share the experiences and background that they have as a person, because that's what makes them them and valuable and a beautiful person. And that's going to be something completely different than what I could provide or what someone else can provide. And that's why we need all of us. So, yeah, so trying to build the tools in the tool shed, and get those out to people.
Damn, Dalian, that's what's up. I fuck with that analogy.
Yeah, that was great. And Dalian, if I could just ask a follow-up question, what do you see, just a place to direct people to, what do you see as the teams and the channels on the Discord that are really active in trying to build and consolidate those tools right now? Just a brief overview of, in order to direct people, who are those teams and stuff?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't get. The problem is it doesn't stay brief because we keep on building more tools. Um, but yeah, we try. That's part of what we tried to do at the beginning of these welcome meetings, and that's why we also like try to have the agenda as like a written note sheet for you all. Thanks again, Dave, for making the agenda every Sunday. That's look part of one of these tools that I like always really appreciate that Day helps make. But yeah, you can go back and look there and like see all the things we listed out. But the number one place you can go to is going to be that the GSUS resources link tree. It's just got like so much stuff on it. Like half the time when I'm like, oh, where's that one thing I saw that had a really good like how to do this or how to do that, or it had like the flyers I wanted to print. Like 90% of the time, it's on that link tree. And then as far as like, there's people making social media posts that anyone could copy and send out from their profiles. These things don't have to come just from a General Strike US Bluesky account or whatever. Or y'all can share stuff on your own private accounts too if you're comfortable with it. So if you check out GSUS Media, that's a really good spot if you want those sorts of things. If you want to know more about the mutual aid groups that are in your area, I guess I didn't mention it specifically, but I'll drop it in the chat. There's like a projects forum thing I made, and I try to help people. Like I tried to explain to people like how to make link trees. But there's a bunch of link trees people have made now. Like we've got a ton of them, so you might be able to go check out if someone's made something for your state, and it might tell you like, oh, you've got like these 3 organizations in your county that you could go check out or support. So that'd be another one. I'll see if I can drop the link to that in the chat. But that's kind of a quick highlights reel of some of the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But feel free if there's other people who want to shout stuff out, you can do that after me or put it in the chat or whatever.
And we have Danny on.
Oh.
Just really quickly, not a long point at all. The other day, I think it was Caden, was messaging about a project that they were working on, which I thought was really cool in terms of redundancies and kind of sharing these resources, like the question was asking about. Basically, he made his own link tree with a bunch of resources on it. And I think if all of us individually did that, even outside of like the state link trees, and just had those and shared them with each other. I think that would also be a really cool way to share resources, even outside of GSUS as well.
Yeah, Caden's in my group in the main chapter, and they have a Substack where they posted this idea, and they posted an article in their Substack, Caden LaRosa, and it's called "Link with Intention." So you can read about it there. They've also posted it in the main chapter, and it's just basically how you kind of it's like an online business card. You personally share and with specific people that might be interested in what you're all about, doing link trees with intention. And I was more also just talking about like the teams, like the strategy team, outreach team, tech team, chapter facilitators and stuff, like where they're all working on this issue of kind of like updating and consolidating tools. Not that people can't continue to make their own awesome things, but having some general consolidation updating as well for like specific tools. There's a lot of conversations going on around that as well. So I'd encourage people to look at the team threads. What I just still don't understand myself is how the roles work and how people assign themselves to teams and get involved and all of that. I'm still a little unclear on that as far as how the Discord works.
Yeah, sure, no worries. I can give a little bit of advice for that too, like in case someone does want to jump in on outreach team, or you maybe already are a part of outreach team, but you're just not sure how you can help out. So those roles are all things you can choose. I think when most people first join the Discord server, there's options to select what sort of teams you think you might be interested in helping with, and also for you to select the regions, like the geographical regions where you're interested in helping out. And you can change those selections at any point if you need. You can go to the channels and roles part of the Discord and change that around if you moved states or something, or if you're on the border of 2 states and you actually might be interested in helping with things on either side of the border. We've got some people who do that quite a bit here. So, yeah, but what I would suggest doing is try to find like a group of people. It doesn't have to be a big group, even just like 3 to 6 people can be a good working group to try and accomplish a project. So I think it's not so much that we necessarily like have teams set up for, there's some teams that are set up and are working on projects already, but part of what our structure is meant to do is to be very adaptable so that people can create teams around any given project and start working towards those actions, at the ready. And you don't have to ask for permission. Just please ask for advice. If you want help or you want to know if people are already working on something, yeah, feel free to let us know, especially if you do think like you're worried about your project might overlap with someone else's and you want to make sure you're not like, you know, emailing the same organization. Like we're not, both emailing 50501's Oregon chapter at the same time and being like, hey, do you want to partner up or whatever? Like, yeah, we can coordinate stuff like that, but for the most part, it's you're welcome to start those projects, ask for help if you want, find a couple of people and form a crew and go for it. So I'm not sure if that helps exactly, but I don't even think I could begin to list for you all the projects that people are working on, as like, yeah, I don't know them all, and that's part of the reason too. Is like, there's only so much any 1 or 3 or 100 people can know. But yeah, that stuff's kind of working in the background, and then every once in a while, one of those crews will pop up and be like, "Hey guys, we got like this thing that's happening, and we could use some more help," or we're looking for a few more members to help us out. So that's kind of, if you're looking for a picture of how this might work and how to start jumping in. That's what a lot of the work looks like for forming crews and working on projects. Hopefully that helped.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful to like give people some direction on to be able to just kind of do your creative idea, but also make sure that you're linking up with the same people who have the same idea and you're not duplicating efforts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, very good question though. Thanks for asking.
Right, we have 4 minutes left. We can definitely stay through the whole 4 minutes, and yeah, if you all have any more questions, please feel free to share, drop in the chat. Just seen Fight the Dystopia just shared. They wasn't able to make it to the whole meeting, but they just wanted to let us know. GSUS, I believe Massachusetts had their first in-person meeting. It went great, sweet. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Fight. Our chapter did not have an in-person meeting today, but we just met over Signal, which was straight. Um, Hopefully, we meet like every 2 weeks, so the weather should be decent enough to possibly meet outside in person. Got our fingers crossed.
That's awesome. Maine had their first meeting last night. It was a pretty small group, but there's a variety of counties involved and a variety of skills, and it's multi-generational. And we're all really excited about that because from that foundation, we can build kind of all these little cells that have to do with county, community, interests, industry, skill set. So we've got a good foundation for building out that network.
Sweet, sweet. Just a heads up, if you all are comfortable, you can always blur out the faces, but if you all like do any like chapter events or go to a protest as a chapter, you have the general strike signs or flyers, drop some photos. We love to let people know that our chapters are out, getting involved, helping out with services and programs. It helps build trust and credibility as well. So I know the weather is about to break and we'll be out a little bit more, but it definitely helps.
Quick question. Where do we send those photos to?
GSUS Media, um, I drop stuff in there, or sometimes you can double tag in GSUS Media, or I think it's called social media plugs right now. Any
Okay.
one of those. Hmm. Or like I'm gonna get better at it, but like if you hit up a protest like as a chapter, maybe like the person that's more comfortable speaking or whatnot, you all can like do a little report, while you're there, like, hey, our chapter made it out here. We'll, give us some feedback and I was about to say shit like that, things like that. It definitely help out good content to share on our socials.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, it's
I'll
9 o'clock.
actually,
Hmm.
oh, I was gonna piggyback off your last point a little bit, Day. I know that sometimes there's like, and this is also going along with what Elderberry said a little bit, is sometimes there's like work being done and like goals get accomplished or like a project gets seen through, people take actions, but we don't always necessarily like hear those things like, they don't get posted in, the announcements channel and Discord and stuff because there are a lot of people going to a lot of protests and passing out a lot of flyers. I hear about it a lot on our state signal chat and on our state channels and stuff too. But yeah, feel free to share those little triumphs and those little victories along the way too. I know that the 50501 Portland group actually came up with an idea during a meeting we had discussing collaboration opportunities. And one of the ideas they had was to create a little like organizers newsletter that helps list like upcoming events that align with our values, especially ones from obviously like our two organizations, but also other groups that we think people could go out and support too that are heavily aligned with us. And maybe do like a spotlight on an organization, share little spotlights about actions or activities or projects that we've accomplished in the recent periods, just to let members know, because not everyone always like has time to keep up with like a daily chat in Discord or on Signal or whatever. Some people might prefer to get this information by email or, in like one weekly condensed, document or newsletter or whatever. So yeah, that's another idea too. And actually, we have been collecting some emails from members who are interested in hearing about us and getting connected up in more rural parts of our state. They've been sometimes coming to us by email. So yeah, this is something too that in case another chapter is looking for like a way to eventually like help spread the word about what they're doing. Yeah, you can post it on Discord, but also yeah, maybe try doing like a little newsletter or something. Um, and don't be afraid of getting your chapter's email out there if you've got someone who can help man the email account. I've put our email on our link tree. I think that's legitimately the only place it lives is on our link tree. And I've been very surprised at the number of people who've emailed me and been like, hey, just read your link tree, just signed the strike card. Like, what can I go do to help out? So, yeah, if that helps too, figured I'd throw that out there.
Sweet. We got elderberry up on set.
I just want to say one final thing because something you said, Dalian, reminded me of it. In our meeting last night, we had someone of an older generation. They're kind of in their 50s, I think, and they were like, most people I know are in their 70s. And they were like, I really want to be the person, and those people don't do Discord, but I want to get them involved. So I want to be the person who is helping them not necessarily learn new technologies that they don't need to know, but I'm communicating with those groups. And so also just look for the elders too, and loop those people in, even if they're not going to learn Discord in the movement. If you can identify somebody that is an intermediary for people who don't use this type of technology, if you can identify someone or many people in your state chapter as time goes on and you build out that chapter, those people are really useful as well. That can be a intermediary for people that aren't quite as tech savvy but also want to be involved.
Sweet. Radio.
Hey, about what Elderberry said, I know that not everybody uses these technologies either, but one thing that I've said a few times is that I think it'd be great if we got like some really active Facebook pages. I know that a lot of the medias that we tend to be on tend to be for younger generations, and when in my mind, Facebook is the one that 50-year-olds tend to use, though there may be others that I am not as aware of. But I think that having a strong team on those medias that aren't necessarily used as regularly by younger people, but are by older people, would do us a lot of good. That's all I have to say.
Tweet. We have a Detroit Facebook. It does pretty well. I know we're trying to avoid Meta and stuff. But if it's not for you, definitely don't hop on there. But if you're already on there, yeah, it's a lot of activists, a lot of action on there, and definitely you can reach the older crowd. I did want to add it was separate from what we're talking about, but it goes hand in hand. I just wanted us to keep in mind to take advantage of the holidays that's coming up, um, or like a current events, of course, but holidays. So we have like St. Patrick's coming up, Easter coming up. Just ways we can possibly collaborate, like on a post. Ways we can produce our own propaganda, to try to shift the consciousness during those times. Yeah, and just get our message out. Just creative, witty ways we can use those holidays to spread awareness about the General Strike US and whatnot. So when you think like St. Patrick's Day, what can we use to like push our messages and whatnot? Maybe we can come up with like some poster or something we can share with between all the chapters or with our members and whatnot. But that was it. Uh,
Yeah, that
mhm.
reminded me about May Day. May Day, and some people are in the ethereal network or atmosphere Discord are already talking about what types of coordinated activities could we possibly do as a network for May Day. Um, that might be a really important thing to jump on. So just those conversations are kind of nascent, but if anyone wants to talk to me about them, I can loop you in if you got ideas. I think we should try to do something for May Day if possible.
So we do have the Mayday General Strike Zines. That was the only thing that we had, but we do have some Zines like tailored specifically for Mayday to pass out. I linked the channel as well. So if you all want to we'll be out at those events. If you want to print those out, it's definitely physical. So it's like an in-person um, you know, item that you have to pass out. But yeah, if you're at these rallies, protests during May Day, definitely grab some and pass them out.
Cool, thank
It's
you.
these. It's these. If you see my webcam, it's these. It's these zines right here. So yeah, we have them up on the shop, and we have them PDF available on the link tree. So you can find these on the link tree for the PDFs, so that you can print, and on the link tree as well is instructions to print these. So you can have these in your hands, right? All you need is scissors and a stapler and a printer, of course. But you can have these printed out and distributed in your areas. And I know that some other places, other organizers like New Mexico has printed these out, and some other zines, and spread them around protests, different areas and their areas. So you could do this entirely for free. You don't have to buy them from the shop. But if you do have access to the link tree, a printer, and scissors, staplers, you can totally make these yourself.
But if that's great to know. I didn't know that was already in the works and already available. But I'm talking about more. Could we talk about, just as a community, about like a social media campaign of possibly doing info tables? Is that it makes sense to do info tables and kind of broadcast that as a social media campaign. I don't have the skills to coordinate that, but I was just putting the idea out there.
when you say like broadcast like info, like are you talking about like our chapters out like tabling at during May Day? I think
Yeah,
is
like
that
a
what
coordinated sort of chapter like but nationwide effort to like info table with things or something like that. Like something that we can just kind of put out a little bit more as a coordinated effort for May Day specifically.
Yeah, if you work on it with us, I think we should. I think BX was also doing something around that time as well for Mayday. So we want to get more strategic with it. Yeah, I think we should. We're already going to be doing it, so why not?
Yeah, I think that would be great because a lot of the feedback we hear is like, well, what are you guys doing leading up to the general strike? Like, what coordinated movements are you doing leading up to it? And I think that this May Day is a really great opportunity to kind of jump on that and start to answer that question.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm down. I know our group was shit. My bad, y'all. I know our chapter was trying to like steer this Mayday's coalition this year toward more mutual aid, resource sharing, but they are so determined to do a marching rally. So it won't be like stationary to where we can, because we were trying to do like a free store and shit, but really can't do that if we're gonna be marching. So we're just gonna be tabling, and then we'll promote an event in July to be like a GSUS event for our chapter. Um, Feeding the people, possibly collaborate with some mutual aid groups and whatnot. So we'll promote that event um, at the May Day rally, and also do like pass out like flyers and the May Day signs and shit. So it's also good to like if promote like a event people can follow up you all on during that time as well.
Yeah, like kind of emulating the 50-51 strategy of like we we broadcast it and then the states have to figure out what exactly they're doing and they do their own sort of thing that makes sense for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ren, I can't hear you if you're talking, Ren.
Yeah, no worries. Maybe they'll come back in a little bit. But yeah, if anyone else has things, otherwise we'll get Rin back up on the stack when their mic's back on.
It's weird. They were just able. They probably gotta hop off. Discord can be silly sometimes.
Oh, can I just ask a follow-up question about May Day?
Mhm.
I I'm confused by the Wikipedia definition of May Day in terms of dates. It says sometimes uh it's on May 1st and other times it's on the first Monday of the month. So are the May Day events happening from the 1st through the 5th, or what do we know about that?
Um, I really couldn't give you a, a solid answer. I know it's every May 1st. Um, I don't think it's like I wouldn't know for like if it's specifically stuck to the Monday, but I do know it's having it on May 1st, whatever day it falls on. Um, I don't know. It could be America just fucking with us because they don't want us to really celebrate it too. That's what I'm thinking. Just trying to confuse us. But yeah, that's really all I have for that. It's Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah, I, I couldn't find anything else in the Wikipedia or anything else significant, and the Wikipedia seemed the most, but it was so confusing. And it is like an international Labor Day too. So just so everybody knows, it's not just U.S.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
we
know.
can they
There,
find like whatever orgs are doing stuff for May Day and just use whatever date they're doing and go off of that.
Ren, are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Um, in New York City, we had something in the works for May Day that would be like a people's potluck day after capitalism type thing. We were hoping for good weather, and just sort of mobilize around our local mutual aid groups. So not like one big New York City thing. Just working within our neighborhoods, putting on
Mhm.
some sort of potluck, and having like structured conversations around what New York City could look like post capitalism. What like a community based, socialist based structure of living could look like for us and our neighbors. But I'm not really sure if that's what we're gonna keep with. That was what we sort of were proposing and drafting, but we haven't really made much movement on it as far as I know in the last couple weeks. So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe if it's like more like a coordinated GSUS chapter initiative, maybe that can help it out, and we can put our brains together and try to push it along. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, and also maybe like like a political education workshop leading up to it that is like the history of May Day, May Day actions throughout history. Like that would be so cool too, and post that to our YouTube, or whether live or or not. That would be awesome.
Yeah, let's get it. I like that idea.
And of course, I think that uh, since you're going to be involved in your local May Day community stuff, but you're kind of in the political action or the political education team, we may want to talk about doing something like that prior. But anyway, yeah, we can continue to talk about that.
Oh yeah, great ideas, great discussion. You all, I love it.
Yeah, I think Danny Pooh wanted to be on stack next, and then yeah, we'll see if anyone else wants to talk. Go for it, Danny.
Sorry, really quick question. Um, with the new plans for state servers and stuff, I've been talking with Colorado about potentially doing it. The votes look positive. Some people do have some concerns, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. Um, I know that the original plan was to have it owned by the GSUS Discord account. Is that still a possibility? Like, what's, I guess, the plan with that when we're making these state servers now? Or is it kind of up to the state?
Sure. So I think it's really up to whatever you guys want. If you do have someone who feels like they are ready to do the ownership and stuff like that, the GSUS account was going to hold it just until like we were ready to pass it off, pretty much, and you guys felt comfortable with like the staff you had and knowing that it was like set up how you wanted it or knowing how to do setup and stuff. So I think it could be either way. But yeah, we can pick up that discussion if you want after the meeting for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I know we're getting past the hour mark, so if anyone does need to head out, we totally understand. And yeah, don't feel like you gotta stay here the whole time if you need to go off and do things. But yeah, if anyone else has more to contribute, though, we love being able to have the open discussion for new members to ask questions as well as current members to talk things out. Yeah, and y'all can have meetings too if you ever want to use these group voice channel spaces with other people that you're trying to coordinate a project with. Like, please feel free to use it. All right. Anyone else have input on the discussion or the thought-provoking question for the day?
I'll just mention about the state channels. My understanding now is that it's going to be a collaborative process with the states and regions, and just kind of not collaborative, but like collaborative and customizable. So in other words, if we need help from the mods to set something up, we can have that help. If we need someone else to own it before we're ready to own it, we can have the help. Or if we want to do it on our own, that's fine as well. But it's basically we're just kind of playing it by ear, feeling it out, customizing and collaborating for our specific states and regions. And that's why it's important for us all to be in communication with neighboring states and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And we're definitely looking to make sure we are like trying to identify staff who can help out with this because, yeah, we'll definitely need more hands on deck. So that's a big project that we're working on right now.
Yeah, we don't want to overwork anybody. But there are some states like Massachusetts that are doing like the pilot program for the rollout, and so I hope at some point the people that aren't the state chapters and regions that aren't quite ready to make those decisions yet will get some type of report posted somewhere from the chapters and regions who have made that decision and have done their pilot program.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. And I was already thinking about asking them for like, yeah, their like tips that they learned or just kind of like we'll write down the bullet points for the process that we've been using so far and make sure we keep the parts we want to keep or make a note to try and iron out any issues that we find as we do this. But yeah, I'm excited to have people have more control over, being able to set their events calendars and like set roles how they want and just be able to make more local conversations because sometimes it's hard to get down to that level when we're all talking in a national server and we've already got 50 plus channels to put into all the states and territories and stuff.
Great shit, everyone. I'm gonna be hopping off, but I'll be around if you need me. Just at me. But yeah, we'll do this again next Sunday.
Yeah, thanks, Day. Appreciate you helping facilitate the meetings. And yeah, have a good rest of your Sunday. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes in case anyone else has questions and things. But yeah, if anyone needs to head out, I know it's been daylight savings day. It's kind of a weird one. I didn't get as much sleep too, so yeah, we don't take it personally if you all want to call it good here. But the floor is still open if anyone wants to discuss or has other questions about stuff.
Thank you, Dalian. I'm gonna head out. This was super great. This was a great welcome session. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for your contributions too, and glad to hear things are getting started in Maine.
Alrighty. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Who we got left? Oh, it's just like 6 of us. Yeah, we're getting to the end. Thanks for being here, Sixella. Yeah, appreciate you sticking it out. And Jaden, thanks for contributing, showing us designs and stuff.
It's what I do. Can't wait to talk
Yeah.
about Project Starfish tomorrow. I'm very excited. I love our little project going on.
Yeah. No, it's definitely good. And I'm glad that like Massachusetts is feeling comfortable stepping into it too. Like I think it's really cool that yeah, they feel like they've got a good enough crew that they're willing to give it a shot. I feel really good actually, even with the amount of people we've gotten into the Oregon server. We've only had it up for maybe like 2 weeks or something, maybe a little less, but we've still got like 60 to 100 people in there. And the conversations are definitely like, I feel like people are just a little bit more open to talking and also feel a little bit more comfortable sharing about like the local area they're in because they actually know the other people are in those areas and so they'll know what the heck they're talking about. So.
Good. We can expect to see that kind of behavior replicate across all of these servers when we set them up. I think that's a good thing to look forward to.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, and I also just personally I was like, oh, cool, I actually like know who's in my county, who I might actually like be able to go meet in person with. Whereas on the national server, it was a little hard to figure out like all these people have the Oregon role, but how many of them are actually close to me potentially? Hey, Danny, if you don't mind me asking, so it's like you and Worms primarily for Colorado. Do you guys have any other people that you think might be helping out with your server and stuff?
Yeah, I've been talking to quite a few people from Colorado, and I've gained like me and the members have started to like really get to know each other and like trust each other a lot.
Oh, good.
So there are a few others that I would recommend. Now my fear is that regardless of those people being on the team to help with that kind of thing, we still don't have enough like moderators who really know like the bots and things like that as it relates to Discord.
I've
Um,
got you.
Now that said, actually that's a lie because I think Ziggy knows about it, not British Ziggy, Colorado Ziggy.
Hmm.
I think he knows about a lot of that actually.
Hmm.
And he works from home, so a lot of the time like he's very much able to like be active on the Discord. So for me personally, I would say me, Worms, Duck Person or Nick,
Hmm.
Ziggy, and Chumpy, who is relatively new but is very like technologically savvy and has been like very involved in our discussions and like our online meetings since he joined.
Cool. Yeah, it's good to have that mix of like people who have like the Discord skills and people who have the people skills.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I feel like on the Oregon side, we're a little bit more heavy on people with the people skills. But the good news is like I could just ask Aradia or you all to help
Yeah.
with Discord stuff if we need to. So I think that's another advantage of trying to do it this way too. Is like we're always there to help give advice as they're starting stuff off too.
Right, exactly.
Sorry, can someone just explain to me? I was just checking my direct messages and this meeting popped up. Is this still the weekly welcome meeting or is this a new thing that started that I was invited to and somehow showed up in my DMs?
Oh God, I don't know.
This is still the weekly welcome meeting.
This
This
is
is
still
just
the
the
weekly
end of
problem.
it. Okay.
Yeah, I think I haven't pressed end on the event yet, which is why I
Oh,
think it still says live now. Yeah, but
that's why
I
it's showing
know.
up in my DMs.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then there was also like a weird thing today where apparently Discord didn't roll back the meeting an hour for